About the exploring the intersection between the entertainment and the gaming industry. And with me here we have Christopher Okagbue and Kristen Okagbue. So we'll be asking them some questions. So I'll start with Christopher.
Yeah, as always.
Alright, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career journey?
I am an actor, amongst many other things, but acting is also that we are pushing right now. I got into the entertainment industry at a pretty young age. I think I was 16 at the time. And I started off as a model and then ventured into acting and have been doing that ever since. It's been, I would say it's been great, but I never wanted to be an actor. So at first it was a bit challenging. I just really wanted to do modeling and then music. But then acting was something that I just stumbled into, and the more I did it, the more I became passionate about it, and now I love what I do, so yeah.
So as an actor, how do you approach character development?
From three different perspectives: the actor's perspective, the writer's perspective, and the director's perspective, because they are three different things. I believe that when you're able to merge these three perspectives, you are on the right course to deliver a beautiful story. So yeah, I usually like to have a conversation. If I am not able to have a conversation with the writer, which I really don't feel like I need to, because reading the script is almost like you're reading the writer's thoughts, right? But once the director reads the script, he's reading it from his own perspective and the general viewpoint he has of the story. So I usually always have a conversation with the director and ask him how he would want to, go about things. So basically, a lot of people don't know this, but the job of the director is not necessarily to show an actor how to act, because for you to be in a film means that you already kind of know how to act, but it's more like how to interpret certain roles, which is where I need my director to guide me. So once we are able to have a conversation and share my ideas of what I think about the character and his ideas of what he thinks of the character, and we find the balance, it makes work easier. So yeah.
So how do you handle criticism, like negative feedback?
I would say I don't really listen to stuff that much. I don't really read a lot of blogs.
So you just zone it out?
Yeah, I just zone it out because I would say because I started doing this at a very, very young age, I've grown a very tough skin over criticism. And for me, I believe that anything worth doing is worth doing well. For every project that I take on, I give it my 100%. Now, my 100% may not be enough for viewer A or viewer B or viewer C. Yeah. And that's totally fine, right? You cannot please the world. As long as at that point that I'm performing, I feel like I'm giving it my absolute best. I cannot do more than myself, right? And I'm totally happy with that. Whatever criticism that comes, I do take criticism, constructive criticism, even general hate and yabs and stuff like that. It all comes with the job, you have to take the good with the bad. But what's important is at the end of the day, the show must go on.
So how do you balance staying true to the character essence and then bringing your unique style into it?
Every role is different. And I'm not going to lie, there are some roles that are very similar to things that I've done before. Yeah. So that way it's easier because it's almost like I can tap into like a reservoir of previous experience, right? And then tweak it a little bit. So just basically getting into the character. I feel like it's on an actor to create a backstory for the character. That's in the event that the character does not already have a backstory from the director or the producers or whatever. Most movies usually don't do that, right? You pick up the scripts, the first thing you're seeing is a young man in his early 30s, walks through the door, starts fighting with his wife and all of that. So it's on the actor to kind of like create a backstory where he's coming from, to be able to explain where he's at and where he's going. Why is he the way he is? Did he have like a very terrible upbringing? Did he have abusive parents? Was he neglected as a kid? So when you create those sort of backstories, it kind of like gives the character depth. So when you're performing, it's almost like you have something to tap into. But again, like I said, it's on the actor to do that work. The director is not going to tell you to do that. His job is basically to direct the film. Yeah.
So have you ever gotten any role that has been very, very difficult for you to do? Like a very difficult role?
Yes, quite a few of them. To be fair, I actually prefer difficult roles because I feel like that's what challenges me the most, and I like being challenged. I really don't like the easy roles because at the end of the day, I like to get back home and feel like I've performed as an actor and not just say lines. I never do say lines because I'm always performing, but there's a personal self-gratification that I need to feel at the end of the day when I'm done working. So that's why I would rather go for the difficult roles, because those are the roles that push me, stretch me, help me grow as an actor. So yes, I have had quite a few of them. I would say one off the top of my head right now was from Lutanna in 2017. The character was very, very complicated in the sense that it was also very different from who I am in real life, because I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I always have a reason to laugh or smile and joke around. The character was the direct opposite because he was in a constant, perpetual state of sadness, right? You hardly ever see him smile. You know, he always looked and felt like he had the weight of the whole world on his shoulder. So it was very difficult for me knowing that my real self is very different from that. So I always have to find a way to stay in that place where I look like I'm about to pass out, I'm about to die, I'm now my own problem was for this life. But it was very interesting because it kind of like showed me sides of myself that I didn't even know that I had in me. So yeah.
So moving over to Christian for a bit. So as Christopher just mentioned, he has been through so many acting roles and he got to some stages to overcome those roles. So yeah. I'd like to actually, as he was growing up, did you notice was anything you noticed in him about acting? Like you just felt like, wow, Christopher could end up being an actor. Was there any moment like that you've noticed anything about acting?
Yeah, I think I would say yeah, because growing up, he's like this kind of a character, like this kind of person, like he just does he does this, he does that, like, but once in a while, like you just see like that little bit of talent, because you know, growing up together, like we used to dance together, we used to act together, we started modeling together before I veered off and you know started doing my own thing, because obviously I think that's his own specialty. But growing up, I think I remember you know, we could just be playing around. I don't know, maybe like when you're like you know, on a flight, like when the pilot is you know, we're about to take off, prepare for boarding and stuff like that. You know, how they do the voiceover and all that. You know, he used to play around with it. Like,
I do remember that.
You remember that, right? You know, like the whole family, like we would just be there in the living room, and then like he would just be like, "Oh, this is your captain speaking. This is
your captain speaking."
Yeah, remember, right? Yeah, like he used to kill it, and then I look at him like, "Oh, okay, nice." So, and it's actually like so surreal. Like when I see him on screen and stuff like that, I'm like when people look at him like, oh yeah, he's the actor or whatever, but I just look at him, I just see my brother and all that, but it's just, you know, so nice to actually see him like doing what he loves and thriving in it too, so yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So would you consider yourself a competitive person?
Yeah, I think I am. But I think he's more competitive than me. way more. But I think I'm just, yeah, if I win, fine. If I don't, but like sometimes like I like to take things like, you know, competition serious. So yeah, I'll say so.
So can you tell us a little bit about your career and what drives you?
Right now I'm into tech. Specifically, I do data management and document review. So mostly I just like to, I don't like stress in my life. I like to chill, so my work, like most times I just do like, I'm at home, it's just remote work. Or I could, if I'm going anywhere, as long as I have my laptop, I could just log in and work and all that. So for what drives me, I would say just success, right? But not just for me, mostly for the people around me, like family, you know, people that I just want to do better for, so you know, you could take care of or whatever. You know, I want to buy my mama car, I want to do this. You know, growing up as a young guy, you have like dreams of things that you want to do. So I just, you know, recall, like I just go back to that, and you know, that just drives me to keep going and going. And
so how do you think your experience in video game growing up as a child has shaped you as a person?
Oh, one thing I would say video games help me with is you know, like when you're trying to like navigate like puzzles, or like it just helped me, what's the word? Solve things more, like to be more practical with things. You know, like when it comes to video games, like you're trying to pass this level, there's like always some sort of a step or, you know, procedures that you have to take. You just have to find like the way to go, you know, through it. So with video games, I would say that prepared me for it. You know, like I just apply it to life. Like when life will come with its wahala, you just know, okay, there's a solution. Maybe it might not be straightforward to, you know, the solution might not be straightforward. It might be this way or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, video games help with that.
Over the years, video games have changed. The technology, and then there are new games going around. There's VR now. There wasn't a VR before. So how do you think that's changed? Like video games have changed over the years?
Oh, one thing I'll point out, graphics. Like the graphics, like when you compare games that we used to play like growing up, like Mario, Paperboy, Zelda, like now you look at the graphics, like the graphics has just like changed like drastically, like for the better anyways. Like you look at this new generation, like they won't know like what we went through.
Yeah.
You get like the stuff that we had to, the kind of games that we're playing then, and then we're happy.
Played our games, and they'll be like, "How did you guys even enjoy this? Like,
Yeah.
it's so archaic."
Yeah, they'd be like, I can't even see, like, you know, like all those graphics then, like their hands are like this, as opposed to you know,
Like
having
actual fingers.
Yeah, so definitely
It's
improved a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were in good ultimate search.
I was.
Yeah, that's
A lifetime
been yeah, so can you share a bit of your experience? But like, how was it the first time you got there?
The first time I tried out for Good Ultimate Search was in 2010. That was the 7th season of the show. I didn't get selected, and I did not know why, because I actually went far in the stages, and it got to a point where, you know, one of the interview stages, and one of the guys behind the desk just said, "Oh, Chris, just go home, you're not ready." And I'm like, I didn't understand. I was like, "You're too eager." I'm like, "Fam, everybody here is eager. Everybody wants to be on the show, so just I'm too eager." So it was frustrating because I didn't get dropped for any reason in particular that I could go back and work on. It was a case of, oh, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough, you're not, you know, I could go back home, work on that, and then come back the next year. But I had nothing to work with. So I basically came back the next year the same way I left the previous year. And as God would have it, I got on the show. And obviously the selection process was really difficult, but that was like the tip of the iceberg compared to what we actually faced in the jungle. To be honest with you, the very first day, up until the very first day, we all still thought that we don't actually get to sleep in the jungle. We thought that when the cameras go off, they'll probably like take us back to the hotel or put us in a tent or whatever. And so on the first day, or rather first night, we were building our tent, but we were not taking it very seriously because, like I said, we thought that when the cameras go off, it will take us back to our hotel. So we built our tent very shabbily, and then at night, the rain came, and I remember sitting on my buckets with my backpack and my raincoat from that night till morning, like literally till morning with no sleep. And that was when it kind of like dawned on everyone that, okay, fine, this is real and this is happening. But I kind of was always prepared for it because I love things that challenge me physically. I love obstacle courses, I love puzzles, riddles, stuff like that. And I was also very fast. I don't know about now, I'm too old.
Old age.
A long time ago. But it was a beautiful experience, something that at the time I wouldn't have even minded going back again. Well, I did go back again, but this time not as a contestant. I went back as a gatekeeper. So it was a great experience that, you know, paved the way for a lot of things that happened afterwards.
Yeah, coming next to my next question.
Yeah.
So how did winning the competition impact your life or your career?
It did in a positive way, in a lot of ways. Obviously, before Ultimate Search, which happened in 2011, I was already in the industry from like 2004, right? But between 2004 and 2007, I was really doing modeling. Started acting officially like full-time in 2007. But even at that time, I wasn't doing a lot, right? I was just doing like random shows, movies. I was probably doing like 2 movies a year. Because again, like I said, I did not really want to be an actor. I was kind of like focused more on modeling. So after Ultimate Search, I remember I got a call literally while the show had ended. The day that they were supposed to crown the winner, I got a call from a multi-choice Mnet to audition for a role on Tinsel, or rather to read, not even like an audition, more like to read. Obviously, they had like 2 or 3 other people they were considering for that role. So there was like 4 of us who showed up, and eventually I got the gig. So I got on Tinsel, and Tinsel obviously is big. And it was a great role. It wasn't just waka pass, you know. It was a great role that had like a beautiful storyline, and the character grew over time. So it opened a lot of doors. I was getting more movie roles. I was getting more gigs. I was getting more hosting stuff. Yeah, so acting started happening a lot, and that was when I actually started to enjoy the acting that I never wanted to do, and became more receptive to roles. Because before I used to be like, this role, I beg, I don't want to do. I'll go shoot this one-day job where I could just shoot for one telecommunication or one beverage or whatever, come and be on set for 5 days, do the same thing. I wasn't having it, but over time, I started to enjoy it, and it gave me an exposure that I did not have prior to the show. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Alright, so speaking of games, what do you find most fascinating about gaming and esports? Like where esports is right now in the world, what do you find most fascinating about it?
Just like you said, I think the fact that it seems like every year, like growing up, we used to play like loads of games. But I'll say the ones that we played the most was like football, right? So every year there's a new version of the same football. Say for instance, you play FIFA. Every year there's a FIFA 19, FIFA 20, FIFA 21. Same with Pro Evolution Soccer, which is now Esports, right? So every year there's this improvement in the general outlook of the game, the interface, the graphics, the execution of
that's a game and you have to
stuff
keep
like
up.
that. So obviously it was just really interesting. It's almost like we're always like looking forward to the new ones that was going to come out. Other than the actual games, whether it's soccer or James Bond or whatever, the actual like a PlayStation, there's always a PlayStation 1 and then 2 and then 3, and so you're always looking forward to the newer one, because obviously the new one will be more advanced in a lot of ways. So yeah, it was quite interesting.
Alright, so this is more like an open question.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your experience with DOJ Gaminz? Because you guys were here today, you played FIFA, you played eFootball, you did the VR. So how would you describe your experience?
I would say it was really fun. It was very interesting. I came here with the mindset, because I haven't played in a long time, so I kind of already knew I was going to be rusty. But the thing about gaming is, it's almost like riding a bike. The moment you know how to do it, you know how to do it. If you get on the bike after a while of not riding a bike, you might be a bit rusty, but it kind of like just comes back to you. So I would say the first game we played, I was a bit rusty, but in playing it, you start to remember things that we used to do, moves I used to make, just that whole nostalgic feeling. So it was really, really good. I would say that what I actually enjoyed the most was the VR one, because obviously it's just different. It's just different.
So which game? Because you played two.
So I did the boxing one,
Yeah.
which was very hard and stressful, because I finished and I felt like I just came out of an actual real life boxing ring. I was sweating. But I really liked the Beat Saber one.
Yeah,
I really liked the Beat Saber one.
That was like more like it's less stressful, but
Yeah,
still you have to be
I
like
feel like I
agile.
could play that for hours non-stop. It was really fun. So my general experience, I would say it has been really, really good. I'm glad that we made it happen, because like I said, I haven't gamed in a while. It just kind of like brings back that feeling of. So the thing about gaming is it kind of like takes you, it sucks you into that world where it feels like you are in the actual game. And I think that's what they now did with VR, because you're literally in the game, even though you're not in the game. So it's almost like nothing else exists. All your problems, people you are owing money, people that are owing you money.
They can wait.
Everybody can just chill first. Let me just enjoy this utopia. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Like, it was a wonderful experience. Like I knew what I was expecting, because it's like you said, like it's been a while. Like I played game as well, but first of all, I lost a lot today. Let me just
I was waiting for you to say that part yourself.
let me just put it out there. Like I lost. Like
you lost. Fully.
I got humbled today, but I
you don't
loved.
like saying the scores, or you just want to leave that part out?
Should we keep
No. We don't need to. No. We don't need to. Broadcast the scores. Like let's just. I lost, like no problem.
Somewhere around like 9 0s, right? Never mind.
Nobody has to. Anyways, like I enjoyed every single part of it. Like even like I was humbled. I was like, okay, cool, it's all good, but I enjoyed it, and especially the VR as well. Like had me feeling like I was Luke Skywalker or something with the sabers and just slashing everything. So it was nice.
And so back to Christopher.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you personally connect with gaming or esports as a form of entertainment or competition? So do you see esports as entertainment, or do you see it as competition? Like we have like a lot of esports gamers, like professional gamers, and they play like it's like their career. So they see that as a competition. And so how do you see it as?
For me, it's strictly entertainment. I already have a lot of competition in my life. I cannot come and add video games to it. So video game for me is an escape from the stress of
just
life.
to unwind.
I cannot now come and turn that escape into stress itself. So when I play video games, it's just to tune out from the noise, tune out from everything that I'm going through, every challenge, just let me just have that 1 hour, 2 hours, however long I'm playing, of not having to worry about anything. So it's strictly entertainment.
Well, occasionally you get stressed because just the normal stress, like like when you're losing.
Yeah, like when you're losing. Yeah. I don't mind handling that, because I know it's not real stress. I'm just the one that is thinking, because it's not real life stress. It's not stress like when you know that I have not paid for this, and they are going to. You get that kind of. So it's not real. So I can manage that one. But yeah, it's definitely entertainment for me, not competition.
And so what game character would you like to portray in a movie in future? Like there's so many movies going on around now. So which one would you
What video game character?
like to play?
So there is this video game that we used to play back in the day. It's called Resistance.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
The lead character, I can't remember his name anymore.
Yeah, it's been so long.
So Resistance always had part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on. I can't remember his actual name, but I love that character so much. If in real life I'd like to play, the only downside is that obviously the storyline about the game is there's this virus that hit Earth, the usual, and then turned human beings into monsters, some like the zombies or whatever, and then these military units comprised of like 4 or 5 different people have to go on a mission to go and actually destroy the source, which is like Chimera, like to destroy the source, which is now going to like save everyone. Now, the story was beautiful. I like I like his story and how he was actually also affected, but for some reason his system could resist it to a point. I guess that's why they call it resistance, up until he was able to complete the mission. So if anything, I'd like to play him in real life. But I don't want to really deal with the zombies because, yeah, it's scary.
So this is an open question.
Yeah.
Who would you say is more competitive amongst you two?
Definitely him.
Okay, is there anything you are more
Definitely
competitive in? Like one thing?
I don't think there's because
he's
from all my all the experiences, like everything we've done together, maybe even just going to go play football with friends. He wants to win, even if it's just normal, hey, we're just playing around or whatever. He doesn't care. He wants to win. And maybe like I get a chance to score and I don't score. You see the way he'll be shouting at me like, yo, waiting they worry you. How far? You know what win this game? I'm like, chill.
I mean, it's like I always say, like anything worth doing is worth doing well. If I'm gonna get on the pitch to play football, then I want to win.
So is there any advice, due to your own experience, you want to give to parents who want their children to go into video gaming? Like they want to introduce their children to video gaming. Because then it used to be like a taboo, like go and read video games. But now things have been more exposed and parents are getting to know that okay, video game is not as bad as they think. So is there any advice you would give to any parents that is skeptical about it?
Yeah, what I would say to parents, like let them play games. Like it even helps like stimulate the mind and stuff like that. And the world that we're living in now, you can make money off games. Like a lot of people, like gamers who are like professional gamers, that's what they do. That's how they bring in income. Okay, so I feel like we live in a world now where we're like, what's the word? Woke. You get like, we're more exposed, and just allow your kids, if they pick interest in video games and all that, push them to it and just see where it goes. Just let them have fun.
Alright, so for Christopher, as an actor, how do you see future collaboration between the entertainment industry and the gaming industry? Like, do you see any collaboration between them?
Absolutely. I mean, video game on its own is just entertainment, right? I think that in the very near future, with the direction that Nollywood is going in terms of like advancement, I don't think that there's any reason why we should not be able to have like video game adaptations of movies or movie adapted into like video games. You get what I mean? We have like loads of like action movies right now. We're doing really good in like action movies with our fight sequence, gunfights, car chasing scenes and stuff like that. And movies can literally be turned into a franchise. I don't want to mention names, but they're like really good movies that there is no reason whatsoever it cannot be like adapted into like a video game, just like they do in the Western world. So there's a strong connection there, and I think that there's a market for that because there's a very strong market for gamers. A lot of people may not know that, but I have friends who are like actual professional gamers. And I think that people will love that. People who love the movie industry and are also gamers would really relish the opportunity to be able to merge the two, where you're playing a video game of your favorite Nollywood film. You know what I mean? So yes, I think it's absolutely possible.
Alright, so we'll finally come to this final session of podcast.
Okay.
We'd like to thank you for joining us at DOJ Gaminz.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's
It's been a pleasure.
amazing experience.
And so we'll see you next time at Gaming Amplified.